Greetings, Amar here from Freedom House in Ouro Preto, Brazil. And today I would like to introduce to you not only a champion athlete, but a great human being that I had the honor. His name is Reginaldo da Silva, and remember that last name, Reginaldo da Silva or Silva, and I'll explain later of the importance. This man is a man that years ago, I saw him in the famous São Silvestre race. I saw him actually on TV and the news. It was headline news where his performance was fantastic. I mean, this is a international race with the great Ethiopian racers from around the world, and his performance was fantastic. He's actually what they call the rabbit. He's the motivator of his team, which is Corinthians, and it was a great, proud day. I got emotional. Because there was the greatest racers from around the world, runners from around the world, and because he was Brazilian, and because of his last name. And we'll speak about that later on. But right now, for respect, I will switch to Portuguese, and then we'll do a voiceover or subtitles, and you're going to understand that there's a bigger story than just these trophies, which actually he won yesterday, 2 first-place trophies in the race yesterday. Now, before that, just let me say, Freedom House is a space that's open to everyone. We receive university students, gap year, and they stay here for as long as they want, and we have guests from around the world, and I give them lessons and lectures on colonialism, neocolonialism, Black history, and each dormitory, we have one dormitory is called Martin Luther King, the other one is Rosa Parks, the other one Nelson Mandela, all freedom fighters. So that's our mission, and the way, see, I met him on television, okay? But yesterday he knocked on my door, and the story that he told, as I got emotional when I saw him years ago on the news, is that he was looking for a hotel, and this is a tourist city, and he felt discriminated, and someone told him, go to Amar's, and his wife and Mama's place. Go to Amar. He's going to help accept you. They're going to accept you with open arms there. And he came. He knocked on the door, and so I had the privilege of a champion knocking on my door. And 7 hours after he needed to rest, no one would open the doors for him. He rested, and 7 hours after, he ran a couple 10K inside the jungles, inside the rainforest, and he won. He won after. It was a pleasure, and I didn't know. I didn't recognize who he was until I saw him coming out with his uniform and coming back with his trophies yesterday. So here he is, Reginaldo da Silva, or Reginaldo Silva. And I'm going to switch to Portuguese now because he wants to dedicate this interview to his mother. Okay? So his mother could understand. And then we'll switch to, and then we'll move forward. Reginaldo, aqui estou mostrando você, eu expliquei que eu já tinha me emocionado quando eu vi você na notícia e que foi uma honra e que você chegou aqui cansado, precisava descansar. Depois que descansou, você ganhou o primeiro lugar, campeão, e que você quis dedicar essa entrevista para sua mãe. Me fala um pouquinho sobre sua luta, o que você quiser falar, que motiva você nas corridas? Quais são suas metas de vida, seus sonhos? Me fala só um pouquinho e qualquer coisa eu te faço alguma outra pergunta.
Assim, então, muito emocionado.
Um pouquinho mais alto.
Muito emocionado de poder estar aqui, né, em Ouro Preto. Cheguei aqui em Ouro Preto com a grande responsabilidade, né, sempre de honrar o nome de Jesus Cristo. E me emocionei também muito de poder conhecer uma pessoa como você, como a esposa, e de ficar num lugar tão lindo como esse, que é a pousada aqui. E eu queria estar aqui, ser campeão, né, ganhando os 5, os 10 e os 5. E isso aconteceu, eu estou bastante feliz, e meu grande sonho é de ganhar a São Silvestre. Mas tenho trabalhado muito, dedicado muito aí para obter esse sonho realizado. Não tem muito o que dizer. A alegria é imensa de ver Jesus Cristo realizando mais um sonho, de me tornar campeão aqui em Ouro Preto e de conhecer uma família tão abençoada por Deus como você, esposa, em um lugar tão maravilhoso como é essa pousada que foi preparada por Deus por vocês.
Perfeito. Fala para eles um pouquinho sobre, porque eu estou torcendo para a próxima São Silvestre para você, um pouquinho sobre a dica que eu dei para você, para ter certeza que você vai ganhar a próxima São Silvestre.
Sim, é que você me falou que eu vou pôr em prática a partir de hoje. Conexão sempre com Deus e depois conexão com meus avós, com as pessoas do bem que já se foram.
Ancestrais,
as pessoas sim.
Pede para eles dar um empurrão para vocês.
Para me dar um empurrão, uma alavancada, né? Que vai ser o topo para chegar onde eu quero.
Okay, let me explain now why I asked and I highlighted to remember the name Da Silva. And it's the reason that I got so emotional. I'm not even a sports fan, to be honest with you. I'm actually against competitive sports. But I cried the day that I saw this man on TV, and all of Brazil cried also of emotion. Since I work with Black history, I know that name, Da Silva, has a very ambiguous, not ambiguous, but little conflicting connotation. But it's important to talk about that. When emancipation, Brazil was the last country to free the slaves, 1889, imagine. Some of the slaves did not even remember, did not even have a last name, okay, or didn't remember. Because they assassinated their culture. They had been enslaved for 400 years, imagine. So many of them, many of the rich people here, the elite, had the last name Silva, okay? So some of those, many, it's probably the most popular name. Brazil is the country with the highest black population outside of Africa, okay? Because it also received the most slaves than any other part of the New World. So Da Silva actually means da, literally, of as of property, and Silva is the name of most of the elite during that period. It was a very common name of the noble landlords and barons and all that type of stuff. So when they were emancipated and they were allowed to register their names, even if, same as America and the civil rights movement in Europe, they had no rights, but they were allowed to register their name, and they would put Da Silva, which means of property Silva. So it's a kind of sad that name still exists. He changed it. He actually, as an artist would do and some athletes do, he took the Da, which means property, out in his Silva. But since I know about that black history and I saw that man and I saw all Brazil emotional clapping and him on that day, in that famous race, I really got emotional, and I remembered, and the respect. I had so much respect, and I was actually his fan, and I think that I'm blessed. Me and my wife were really blessed. Freedom House is blessed. We receive people knock on our doors that are just like unbelievable. So it was a great honor, grande honra, to have received this champion. Let him rest here at Freedom House for a few hours, and became the champion of the race that he came to race, and stayed overnight, and now we just finished breakfast. And thank you very much. Algumas últimas palavras?
Dedicar a vitória, né, a todos os patrocinadores que me patrocinam da minha cidade, Babacena. Agradecer pelo apoio e suporte aí que o Supermães me dá, a empresária Roberta, o empresário César. Agradecer a todos os patrocinadores babacenenses aí. E dedicar a vitória para todos os pais, principalmente para meus pais, para o senhor também que é pai. E só isso mesmo, sem palavras.
Okay, well, I will translate this forthcoming, but he just said because it's Father's Day today, and I'll just say the last thing he said was that Happy Father's Day to everybody, because he believes it's Father's Days around the world, and every day should be Father's Days anyway. But it's official Father's Day here in Brazil, and he's saying Happy Father's Day for all the fathers of the world. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, isso aí.
Okay.
Então, o que vai acontecer?